Hi everyone, this video is a little reminder about the powerful end-to-end automation capabilities of the UiPath Test Suite. Now, to show you that in action, let me switch to Studio Pro, our most advanced IDE when it comes to automation here at UiPath. And let me go to my project here called the UiPath Banking app, or in short, the UI Bank. Now, the UI Bank, by the way, is a real set of applications we created here internally at UiPath for the sake of our demonstrations. And yes, we are also using the UiPath Test Suite internally at UiPath to even test our demo applications in an automated way. Now let me go through those notes below here step by step to show you that in action. Now let's start with the easy part, web automation. Now when I expand this node, you can see I already created a couple of automated test cases for the web application of the UI Bank. Now let's go for this one here called create a standard loan. That's a very simple automated test case that aims to create a loan quote in the web application of the UI Bank. So let's see it in action. All we need to do is we need to click Run File. What then happens? Studio minimizes, the robot launches, as you can see in the taskbar. Then we launch our web application, the UI Bank. We click on Loans, Apply for Loan. We enter an email address, a loan amount, a loan term, a yearly income, an age. Then we click Submit. And on this page, was simply too fast for me, we verify the loan rate. And in this case, as you can see here, for example, in the output on the right-hand side here in Studio Pro, the verification passed because the loan rate that was given back the application was exactly the one we expected. Now that's the very short story about web automation here in Studio Pro. But the UiPath Test Suite is so much more than just web automation. We also provide comprehensive support for SAP automation. So here we can automate any kind of SAP user interface or API. And this includes, for example, the SAP Java GUI, the SAP Web GUI, the SAP Win GUI, the SAP Business Client, or even SAP Fiori, the next modern interface of SAP S4HANA. Now, let me show that in action by showing you an automation for the SAP Win GUI. Let me go for this here called Create Standard Order. That is an automated test case that creates and validates the creation of a sales order in the SAP Win GUI. Now let's kick that off. Again, Studio minimizes, then the robot launches. In the course of this test case, we also launch here the SAP Win GUI. As you can see, we select this connection here called UiPath. And then on the logon page, we provide our username and password. Now, after we logged in, we provide the transaction code, then we enter the order type, the sales organization, the distribution channel, and all the details that are required in order to create that sales order. And as you will see in a second, we are even able to interact automatically with those weird emulated tables here in SAP. Then we perform a verification here on the net value in the status bar, we log off, and that is how fast and how reliable SAP automation is. And that's pretty impressive from my simplistic point of view. So that's the short story about SAP automation. But again, the UiPath Test Suite is not just about web and SAP automation. We also provide comprehensive support for API automation. Now here we support REST, we support SOAP, and we support GraphQL by providing a very deep integration, for example, into Postman, the best of breed, best in class tool when it comes to API development and API testing. Now let me show you that in action by showing you this automated test case lookup loan. So what I'm doing in this test case, I'm setting up my environment and then I'm creating a loan via the API. So when we have a look at the properties, we see that all we need to provide are the parameters to create that loan via the API, such as the loan age, the loan amount, the email, the income, the term, and the endpoint to our API. Now, after that, I move on in this test case and I look up that loan on the user interface in the web application of the UI Bank in order to verify the loan details. So let's kick it off in order to see it in action. Again, just click Run File, Studio minimizes, the robot then starts up. Then we create the loan quote via the API. This usually happens in milliseconds. Then we launch our web application and then we enter the loan ID we just created and verify the loan details. Now, this is how you can easily pair UI automation with API automation. Now, on top of that, the UiPath Test Suite, again, is not just about web and SCP automation as well as API automation. With the UiPath Test Suite, we are also able to automate any applications in virtualized environments, for example, Citrix environments. And here we make use of our very powerful computer vision capabilities. But because of the fact that you've most likely already seen hundreds of demos about this, I will skip that part. And I want to move over to the next one. It's all about desktop automation. That means automation of desktop applications such as Java applications or .NET applications. Now let me show you that with here a simple automation called Create Admin. Now let me kick it off. Again, Studio minimizes, the robot launches, then we launch our so-called UI Bank admin application, an application in .NET. We provide the credentials, we fetch them from Orchestrator, we set here the API endpoint, we click on Submit, and then we come here back to our legacy application. It looks like back in the 90s, but as you can see, we don't have any problems steering all these different controls in that application. So what we are doing, we're creating a user and then we verify in that application if the user has been created or not. Now that is how fast you can automate those legacy applications. Now the next one I want to show is all about mainframe applications or the automation of green screen applications in general. And for that, let me show you here a simple automation called modify birth date. Again, just let me kick the execution off. What we do is we connect to the mainframe app of our UiPath banking application. What we do here is we look up a certain account. Then we go to the account owner, and then what we do here is we try to change the date of birth of the account owner. And we leave everything the way it is. Then we continue, we go to the account owner again, and then we just verify here in that field by making use, by the way, of our computer vision capabilities, whether the date of birth has been changed or not. And as you can see, it didn't really happen, so this test case obviously failed. So let's check that in the output. Let's go to the output panel of this test case. And as you can see, the verification failed because the birth date that was given back by the application was not the one we expected. Now that's the very short story about the automation of green screen applications. Now on top of that, the UiPath Test Suite also allows you to automate mobile applications, or it allows you to create automated test cases to automatically check the quality of your RPA workflows. But this is what we'll cover in a separate video.